A rainy matinee special here in Lehigh Valley. It's the Bethlehem Steel hosting the Charleston Battery. Battery in first place, tied with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Bethlehem on the outside looking in at the playoff picture at the moment. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us. Tyler Terrens, along with former Virginia Tech Hokie Morgan Conklin. And Morgan, this should be a fantastic match. Lots of veteran experience on one side, a lot of youngsters with some potential on the other.
Yeah, and some weather. That's going to make it interesting. Always changes how the game goes, so it's definitely going to be a fun one. As you can see, the rain obviously in the area, but the green means that it's not going to exactly be a torrential downpour at the moment, but Mother Nature always has surprises up her sleeve, so we'll have to wait and see if the weather holds up. But either way, we're going to try to get this game in. And on one side, we have Romario Williams, who has been in spectacular form, second in the USL in goals this season. 7 goals so far this year. He's a strong forward, a good finisher. Bethlehem coach Brendan Burke said he's stronger than he was last year, and he just bounces off a tackle, so he's going to be a big player to watch tonight. Williams 2 goals behind the league leader, Dane Kelly, who has been on an absolute tear as of late. And another man who's on a tear is Sekou Kone, a goal in last week's loss against FC Cincinnati. Leads his team in goals with 4 this year. Also has 22 shots on the year. Only 21 years old. Just a player that works so hard on both sides of the ball and is very consistent for Bethlehem. Kone recently becoming Bethlehem's all-time leading scorer in the Bethlehem's brief 2-year history. And we'll take a look at the starting lineup, starting with the visiting Charleston Battery. A couple different disciplinary suspensions for Anunga and Forrest Lasso, so a little bit of tinkering in the lineup for Mike Anhauser. With Lasso out at center back for yellow card accumulation, they brought in Miles Robinson on loan from Atlanta United, which then slides Skylar Thomas out to right back, so that's a change in the back line. Also, Ta Anunga is out today for 2 yellow cards against Harrisburg, so they bring in Nevial Hackshaw in that center mid role to play next to Justin Portillo. Portillo will be pulling the strings in the middle of the field, leads the league in assists with 5, and for Bethlehem, more of the same, but a couple of youngsters getting the opportunity to start today. Yeah, and keep an eye out for Chris Nanko on that wide flank position. Talking with Brendan Burke earlier, they just said they expect him to use his tools. He said he's explosive and look for him to try to time his runs behind the back line. And Dawson McCarty getting his first start in his professional career. He actually just recently committed to play at Dartmouth College, obviously not being played for the game, so he can be eligible to play in the NCAA, but Dawson McCartney getting his first start in his young career, 18 years old. And we also have some youngsters in the stands today, and that's part of the reason why we have an 11 a.m. kickoff. It's Education Day at Goodman Stadium on Lehigh's campus. The youngsters will be in for a good one. Kickoff when we come back.
It can happen over time or in a snap. If joint or muscle pain has taken you out of the game, we can identify the root cause of your problem and develop a sport-specific treatment plan to get you moving again. Over 400 medical experts strong, the region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
The Lehigh Valley's largest selection of new and certified pre-owned vehicles in one location is Roth Rock. We have over 1,000 vehicles to choose from, an award-winning service team, ultra-modern facilities for comfort and convenience, and the best deals in the Valley. During the Drive and Discover event, drive Ram Bighorn Crew Cab or Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sport. Your choice, only $249 a month. That's right, Ram or Wrangler, only $249 a month at Roth Rock. Roth Rock, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, family-owned and operated for over 57 years. Roth Rock, where the cars are.
The first soccer ball was kicked in Bethlehem in 1904. Now, 112 years later, it's time for the rebirth of Bethlehem Steel FC. Kerber's in the box, and there's the first goal in Steel FC history. For tickets, visit BethlehemSteelFC.com or call 844-STEEL-FC.
Are off to the races. And Philadelphia have the lead. Here it is. Oh, what a beauty. Just 2 minutes on the board. Perfect start for the Union.
For tickets, visit PhiladelphiaUnion.com.
Bethlehem start.
Back live here at Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University. Thanks for joining us for this little matinee special, a rainy one albeit. Tyler Terrens along with former Virginia Tech Hokie Morgan Conklin and the Charleston Battery have been in phenomenal form. 6-match unbeaten streak, haven't lost since April 8th against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, a 2-1 loss at the hands of Dave Brandt's squad, but since then they have been phenomenal. And the Bethlehem Steel, while they tripped up a little bit at the beginning of the season, they've been in good form as of late, teetering back and forth between good form and okay form with a couple of losses and a couple of wins here and there. Most recently, a 2-1 loss against FC Cincinnati at Nippert Field. And this should be a phenomenal football match today. Conditions obviously might play a role, Morgan. And when you were playing, when it was raining a little bit, what was something that your coach was telling you just in terms of being prepared for the conditions?
Well, just in terms of taking care of your passes, because obviously if you overhit it, it can slide on the grass. So you just have to be careful with your passes, but also defensively, the way the ball can skip, you just have to get your body behind the ball because it sounds so simple. You expect all of these players to obviously have a great touch, but it's just little things. Sometimes you could slip up. So being careful, getting your body behind the ball, and just settling it.
Well, a young man who's certainly going to have to be careful with his passes in the middle of the field is Dawson McCartney. You see him right there, 18 years of age, getting his first professional start, although not being paid for the game, because he is going to be attending Dartmouth College next year in the Ivy League, along with a couple of other fellow teammates, as McCartney getting his first start, along with Joseph Samuel for the Bethlehem Steel, as well as Miles Robinson on the other side. Here are officials for the game. Jonathan Weiner in the middle of the pitch, making all the important decisions as we are underway at Goodman Stadium. Thanks for joining us, whether you're taking a little break from work, playing hooky from school, as some of the youngsters in the stands are at the moment, part of the 11 a.m. kickoff. It's Education Day for the Bethlehem Steel, just giving an opportunity for the local elementary school students in the Bethlehem, Lehigh Valley area, an opportunity to see what professional soccer looks like. And couldn't ask for a better match, maybe could ask for a better day, but as far as the quality between these two teams, Morgan, you have a Battery side who's one of the best teams in the USL right now. A lot of them are picked to be favorites to come out of the Eastern Conference, and for Bethlehem, just tons of young talent coming day in, day out of this program. Joseph Samuel getting his first touch. Nincone trying to get a little spin around, and it'll go back to Charleston, who's coming off a 2-2 draw against Harrisburg City. Forrest Lasso along with Anunga, two players suspended for disciplinary issues, as Forrest Lasso has an accumulation of yellow cards. He has 5 yellow cards on the season so far in Week 10. He actually leads the USL in that category. Not exactly something you want to be leading in at this point of the season, but nevertheless, Lasso unavailable for today's match, as well as Anunga. So a couple of different changes that Mike Anhauser has to make, but it seems like he has a lot of depth in order to be able to replace it and not skip a beat.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's always difficult, but it gives other players a chance to step up and maybe earn more minutes than they otherwise would have, or step into a role that they might have not seen in a little while.
And there you see the weather for today, which we'll certainly keep an eye on. Raining at match time, although it looks to be holding up just a little bit at the moment. We saw the radar during the pregame show, as this is a little bit of a tricky ball for Tambakis to handle, but he gets rid of it nicely. Garrett trying to get on the right side of Hugh Roberts, but he was in an offside position. And it'll be a Bethlehem free kick. There you see Hugh Roberts, one of the mainstays at the back for Brendan Burke. A couple of different Bethlehem players are actually on international duty with the U20 U.S. men's national team over at the U20 World Cup in South Korea. And the Young Yanks actually just came out with a nice win over Senegal. Josh Sargent getting the goal for the U.S. men's national team U20 squad. So they are looking very good in Group F in the U20 World Cup. So Austin Trusty along with Derek Jones on duty for the U.S. men's U20 national team, as Brendan Burke has had to make a couple of changes. And it's interesting to see Bethlehem, who we have done a couple of games so far this year for Morgan. They have a lot of young players coming in, day out. But on Charleston's side, a lot of guys who have been not only in the league but on Charleston for a number of years. And Miles Robinson is one player on the Charleston side who you don't normally expect to see for Mike Anhauser's squad, is getting his first start.
Yeah, first professional start. I'm excited to see him play today, how he steps in to a role with a team he hasn't played with so far this year, but also in that center back role, as we said in the open, it pushes Skylar Thomas out wide. So I'm definitely excited to see Robinson and just the impact he brings to this game.
McCartney getting his first couple touches. Aaron Jones. There's James Chambers, as Brendan Burke puts it, the heart and soul of this Bethlehem team. Missed the beginning portion of the season, the first 6 weeks with a hamstring injury, and finally getting back into form. He started the past 4 games and played all 90 minutes, so he's clearly match fit and has become a regular part of Brendan Burke's starting 11. Alex Tambakis getting the start in goal today for Mike Anhauser. 24 years old out of Greece in his second season with the Battery. On loan from Atlanta United, along with a number of other players on this Charleston squad. Nice little partnership between Atlanta United and the Charleston Battery. Sent towards the neighborhood of Atula Guerra. Hugh Roberts gone all the way back to Jake McGuire. Not his best clearance, and it'll be a throw-in for Charleston, who again, coming off that 2-2 draw against Harrisburg City. They have been in phenomenal form, and a lot of people have them as favorites coming out of the Eastern Conference. What have you seen out of them so far this season? What makes them so dynamic?
Just the sheer number of talented players. I mean, that's a mainstay across the league, but someone like Justin Portillo leading the league in assists, and then you have Romario Williams, who's just fun to watch up top, is a proven goal scorer, we said in the open, just so strong. You see him working back on the other side, just talented players all over, but also depth. I mean, you see the changes they've made today.
Guerra looking for an avenue for Romario Williams. McGuire has to come off of his line, but very cool and poised in doing so. Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on SiriusXM FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget, SiriusXM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Is that Bethlehem move thwarted? Nice little touch from Guerra, and the Battery are off to the races. Continuing to look for that penetrating ball. Bethlehem wise to take a step off. Chambers. Cartney did well to let that through. Aaron Jones. Joseph Samuel linking up with Kone. See the strength there from Kone, and Charleston defender having to surrender a foul there. So it was Justin Portillo coming back to play, a man who Brendan Burke, the Bethlehem manager, has coached before at Reading United with the PDL side.
You talk about the strength of Kone right there. I think that's just a size differential. I don't think Portillo even has to put his arms on Kone. If he can just stay behind him, keep his arms low, there's no need. But he's trying to gain some leverage. Obviously, Kone is a much bigger player.
Aaron Jones on top of the set piece. Kone was trying to let it run through. Off to the races is Neville Hackshaw, getting the start today instead of Anunga. Through for Romario Williams, and here comes the double team, and they'll certainly have to keep an eye on the man who's second in the USL in scoring this season. And Guerra and Williams not exactly on the same page there, and they'll go back to Bethlehem. Samuel getting his first professional start, as well as Daxon McCartney. Seems like every week that there's a member of the Bethlehem Steel starting 11 who is getting their first professional start. Just goes to show the trust that Brendan Burke, along with Jim Curtin, manager of Philadelphia Union, nice partnership that they have, just seem to have an enormous amount of trust in their younger players from the Philadelphia Union Academy. Daxon McCartney now number 4 in the Philadelphia Union Academy to get a start in the USL this season.
And I love that. I think it's such a great opportunity for these young players. For example, McCartney today, but just the impact they bring to the game. I think academy players have a different energy about them, and when they try to assert themselves, and I you can see the youth energy that they bring to the game, and it's almost refreshing sometimes when we see, the same players week in and week out. So to have a little change, I think it's always nice.
Garrett was trying to get off to the races again with Williams. And that seems to be the Charleston game plan at the moment. And that was something Brendan Burke said, that he was surprised at how much they controlled the middle of the field in their game against Charleston a couple of weeks ago. And that they need to just be a little bit more aggressive when they're attacking, that they controlled the ball for the majority of the game, but they just need to commit more numbers forward. But on the other side, Morgan, it leaves you a bit exposed on the counterattack, and that's what Charleston is trying to do early on. Nice little flick on from Kone. Here is Daxon McCartney, the youngster out of Voorhees, New Jersey, laying it off for Samuel. Chris Nenko, the Syracuse product. Burke just trying to chip it through. Kone in on the mix. Falls to Matt Real. Aaron Jones, the overlapper. Seems it on the right wing. Nenko again. Bit of a heavy touch from Kone. And that pass, too much zip on it. And over towards the Nike soccer banner here at Goodman Stadium on Lehigh University campus. And we'll go back to Charleston.
Well, Tyler, you were talking about some of the possession from the last matchup between these two teams. Bethlehem is definitely building forward. They're finding runners wide and trying to find Kone in the middle there. I like how they're using him as a big target like he is. He has the ability to lay back or turn himself and go. Right there, didn't work out. But that's also taking the weather into consideration. If your touch isn't spot on, it's going to slip. If you put too much on the pass, it's going to slide even more than normal.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit nikesoccer.com. As Bethlehem called for the foul there right in front of Steel manager Brendan Burke, just 37 years of age. Started his first head coaching position at the age of 25 with Reading United, the Pennsylvania PDL side. Nice little touch here from Hackshaw. Hackshaw in, but there is a great sliding challenge from Aaron Jones. Probably hit the deck about 5 feet before he even got to the ball, but because of the slick surfaces, he was able to get there and not commit the foul. Great challenge from number 19.
Perfect timing to get down for it. Jones sees the initial 1v1 move, comes back, and that's a tough angle. If he doesn't get ball, that's absolutely a penalty kick right in the box. But great timing, as you said. I think the slick surface helped him out a little bit there.
And that was actually Obi Woodbine on the far side of Goodman Stadium here. Woodbine, one of the mainstays on Anheuser's back line. Quentin Griffith getting the day off. As Skylar Thomas sliding into that outside back position along with newcomer Miles Robinson, the loanee from Atlanta United, playing at the center back position with Taylor Mueller. Slipping his way through as it was just out of the reach of Nenko. Both teams looking to operate very quickly in the early going. Bethlehem have surrendered almost half of their goals this season in the first 30 minutes of the game, and that was something Brendan Burke really wanted to try and sharpen up at the beginning of the season, was just conceding early on in the match because it's so difficult to come back in a football match once you go down early. Right now, things looking pretty good for Bethlehem as they're on top of the ball, trying to find the penetrating pass. Hardening going back to Hugh Roberts. And you see the all-time series between these two teams. On one side, you have Charleston, who's been in the league for a number of years, 25 to be exact, and Bethlehem just in their second year. Great to see these two franchises, one just starting and another one with so much history, competing on a dreary day here at Goodman Stadium. Again, 11 a.m. kickoff, part of Education Day at Goodman Stadium, allowing the youngsters of the Bethlehem Lehigh Valley area an opportunity to see what professional soccer looks like. Bethlehem right now in 9th place in the Eastern Conference standings with a couple of games in hand as Chambers sends this one along the right wing. Back for Kone. Kone with the strike, and it's handled nicely by Tambakis. But the first shot on target for Bethlehem and the first chance that Tambakis has an opportunity to be tested. We
can't be too surprised that it came from Kone. He's been around box, took that shot a little further out probably than he needed to. If he can get closer to frame, he's a player that is so dangerous in front of goal. But I'm not surprised to see him try to get the first one off and then start to build from there.
Here's Corey Burke in some space. Coming over is Mueller, doing well. Chang on for Guerra. There you see a slip from Real. And Romario Williams was offsides. And we'll have to keep an eye on that. The slick surfaces on the campus of Lehigh University. And here's that chance from Kone.
It wasn't a bad look on frame. He had a nice angle on it, but just didn't get enough behind the ball. But on that last play we just saw by Charleston, you could see the runs by Williams. You see how he's timing that split run through the center backs. Bethlehem knew that was going to happen. They need to keep an eye out for that. They caught him on offsides there, but he's a player that's proven to be dangerous with those runs.
Well, a lot of people get caught up in Romario Williams' physical stature and just his physical dominance, but his soccer IQ is certainly up to par. Here's the youngster Real, 17 years of age, getting his opportunity to start in front of 20,000 plus fans at Nippert last week, and Brendan Burke just said it's irreplaceable for these youngsters to be able to get an opportunity to play in that type of environment. And although they weren't exactly pleased with the result, he couldn't ask for much more in terms of the fight and the way that they played. He said that they did play good football, they just weren't able to finish their chances. And as Danny Kunek, the recent FC Cincinnati acquiree, getting the brace and getting 3 points for a Cincinnati team that certainly needed it. Chang getting around Burke, looking to deliver a service or a shot, but either way it's going out for a throw-in.
You could see the look there on his face. Chang definitely not happy with that. He got around Burke easily. The 1v1, he had the move, cut centrally. If he can get his hips around that ball and get a shot on frame, he's in a good spot, especially after he beat Burke there 1v1.
Well, we're sure to see a lot of players hitting the deck just because of the slick surfaces, and a lot of defenders are going to have to be wary. I know you played defense in college, and it was just, especially on rainy days, it has to be important to make sure that you're grounded on the field because of the conditions.
Yeah, you have to stay low, a low center of gravity, because as an attacking player, you want to take advantage of the fact that your defender might not be able to cut as easily as they normally could. So players who specialize in 1v1 are going to be even more excited to do that today.
Thomas letting that run through nicely. Chang dispossessed by Real in the middle of the field. Burke and Real playing a little two-man game. Real sending a good service in, but nobody home there for Bethlehem. Kone was asking for it at his feet. Didn't get it, but it will remain with Bethlehem. Here's Chambers with some space. Chambers going for goal, but the ball always going over the bar. And it'll be a goal kick coming for Tambakis.
Once again, another great build-up from Bethlehem, taking advantage of a poor giveaway, but just a long-range shot that doesn't need to happen. They've had the build-up going forward. Why not keep it going?
Well, that's something that is going to be there with this young Bethlehem team, with the exception of Chambers. Most of these guys are below the age of 25, and while they all have the technical ability and that's why they're at this level, it's sometimes the composure in the final third that lets them down.
Yeah, and it's something that, especially early in the game, when we talked with Brendan Burke, he needed his team to come out with energy. They wanted to have a good start, high energy, and sometimes that can get the best of you. So if you think you have a look, you try to take it.
Here's Garrett. Akshaw, Williams, and Chang in the mix. Now here's Portillo. Going out wide for Chang, but just over his head.
And that's a ball from Portillo that normally would have bounced and probably laid beautifully on the ground, but with the slick surface, that's one of those that it's just going to hit the ground and skip out.
Tough giveaway there from Bethlehem. Roberts did well to step, but it remains with Charleston as Guerra and Williams were trying to play the give and go, but the go not there from Williams. Good skill here from Portillo. Here's Woodbine going for the early service, takes a deflection, and McGuire able to handle it nicely. USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting www.uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter @USL.
These guys are the biggest actors.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
I'm sorry.
Mueller. Chang with the early service again. There's Hugh Roberts in the area. Chambers flicking it on, and Joseph Samuel trying to get on the right side of Kotaro Higashi. Trying to find Guerra via Route 1, but a little bit too slick, and that's something we've mentioned a lot early on, Morgan, is just the surface and what opportunities that Charleston might normally have on a nice dry day in terms of just trying to get out on the break. Those long balls are going to skip right to McGuire, as here's Bethlehem without an opportunity. McCarty back for Burke. Burke with the service. Samuel in the area, but the ball just out of his reach. And it'll be a goal kick for Tambakis. Good movement, though, from Bethlehem on the counter.
And that's not something we're surprised seeing, is good movement from Bethlehem. They're a team that when they go forward with a purpose. And they get numbers forward, they commit to the attack, but sometimes it's just the final decision-making or the final ball that is off.
Akshaw up strong, as well as Roberts. Foul called against Charleston. Burke with a nice touch into space, working on Skylar Thomas on the near side. Jamaican international holding off Thomas. Back for Nenko.
Good decision just to keep it there. You could see him pick his head up trying to find the big switch, but just a nice, simple decision just to play the short ball.
Charleston pressing a bit higher up the field. Kentrabet. 18-year-old Daxon McCartney. Bad giveaway there from Samuel. Charleston looking to operate in transition. Portillo. Here's Higashi. Woodbine overlapping. But a good step from Dawson McCartney. And it'll be a throw-in for Charleston.
Coming into this game, Bethlehem knew that they had to have numbers behind the ball, mainly in order to stop that final ball to Romario Williams. They knew they had to keep the ball in front of them, and they're doing a good job of dropping back and not allowing this Charleston team just to simply play through them.
Guerra's shot always going wide, as Jake McGuire has yet to be tested. 6 appearances this year, has let in a goal a game. 3 clean sheets, though. One of a number of goalies for Brendan Burke, who's been featured between the sticks this season so far. As well as John McCartney and Thomas Romero, who was the youngest goalkeeper ever to start for USL at the beginning of the season. Burke unable to handle that long ball from Trebet. Mike Anhauser's team has been in great form virtually for over a month now. Haven't lost since that 2-1 defeat against Pittsburgh Riverhounds on April 8th. Won a number of USL contests as well as drawn a couple. In addition to a US Open Cup win over the Atlanta Silverbacks a couple weeks ago. They'll take on Jacksonville Armada in their third round US Open Cup match. And with a win in that game, then you'll start to see some of the MLS teams featured in the US Open Cup. Certainly exciting time as we are almost a third of the way through the USL schedule. It seems like it's flown by already. Seen tons of talent, tons of phenomenal goals. Still lots of football to be played. Bethlehem with 2 games in hand compared to most of the Eastern Conference, so an opportunity for them to pick up points here at home at Goodman Stadium. After a sluggish 1-3 start to the USL schedule, they are about 2-2 in their past 4 games.
Bethlehem just allowing the simple passes. They just want to keep the ball in front of them, allowing Charleston to move it side to side, because those balls side to side don't hurt this Bethlehem team. That's fine. They can keep their eye on the ball and just defensively get in position.
And to that point, Morgan, Brendan Burke said that they need to be careful in terms of going to press, because they know that if they don't keep the game in front of them, the likes of Justin Portillo are just going to play right through them. Brendan Burke, obviously having coached Portillo, knows exactly what he's capable of in the middle of the field. As you see here, spraying the ball out wide for Thomas. So it's all about tactics for these coaches and knowing the opposition and knowing what their strengths and weaknesses are. And Brendan Burke, a tactician at a very young age.
Well, and taking advantage of the fact he knows a couple of these players. I asked him about that. I said, do you share everything you know about these players, such as Portillo? You coached him. He said, absolutely. He said, we use everything we can. If we know about these players, we tell our team all about it. So I thought that was interesting, that they don't just keep both in the coaching staff and make plans. He's open with his team, and it just decides their game plan for the game, knowing some of the opposition and just taking advantage of that.
Well, especially with most of his players being below the age of 25, he's got to prepare them in the best way possible and put them in the best possible position to win. And it seems like he does that week in and week out with his great coaching staff. Again, Brendan Burke, just 37 years of age, and has just done a phenomenal job here at Bethlehem. Utmost of trust with his younger players. As you see week in and week out, a number of academy players getting starts, as Hackshaw was offsides there. But he also said it's just great to have James Chambers back. You know, before Chambers was here, it was just a bunch of youngsters running around. But when he feels he has Chambers on the field, which he has for the past 4 games as well as this 26 minutes, he just feels that there's a sense of calmness in the middle of the field, and that's what the Ireland native has been able to bring for the past few games.
And you can just see it when he's on the ball. You can see how calm he is. He doesn't force anything. If it's not on, he plays the simple pass. He's the vocal, emotional leader, and Burke was just saying how important that is, especially with this young team. But it's interesting watching him. If you physically watch him on the field, just when the ball's at his feet, he's not in any rush to do anything. He's so particular with what he's going to do, and it's just really cool watching him, especially when you know he's playing amongst a bunch of younger players. He's just someone that you can learn from just by watching him.
Chambers with a giveaway there. Portillo picking it up in a dangerous spot. Still Portillo out wide for Chang. Numbers here for Charleston. Ball towards the back post, and Aaron Jones a little bit shaky there with the clearance, but just wanted to make sure that it went over the line. And it'll be a corner kick coming for Charleston.
A good build-up by Charleston. Nice little ball in. As you said, right there, you could tell what Jones was doing. He was ready to head it off the end line. Still a little interesting, in my opinion. But you give Portillo an opportunity to whip a corner in.
Portillo's service flicked on by Mueller. There's the touch, and there's a beautiful save from McGuire, and it had to be, as it was the flick on from Skylar Thomas that gave him all sorts of problems. It was a great reaction save from McGuire. Still 0-0. Chang on top of it now. Ball a bit short of his comrades at the edge of the box. And Bethlehem able to settle down as they get over to Aaron Jones. First time that McGuire has been tested this afternoon. Ahead for Nenko. Working on Woodbine, and Woodbine just shrugging him off. And it'll go back to Charleston.
And I said you give Portillo a chance to whip a corner, and well, guess what? The field is slick. We said that a couple times. So any little flick or bounce makes this so much more dangerous within the 18. A great little touch on, but like you said, McGuire, heads up play. He's ready for it. Quick reaction, because the way the ball bounces around when it's slick, it comes really fast.
Well, it was a nice awareness and touch from Skylar Thomas just to put it on frame, because he couldn't have done much more than what he did, but McGuire was up to the task, as he has been a number of times this season. Nenko trying to squeeze his way out of a tight area, but surrounded by Battery jerseys. And here's Romario Williams after Hugh Roberts takes a bit of a poor touch. Williams in transition. Guerra overlapping. Guerra waiting for the cavalry to arrive. Back for Portillo. Williams and Portillo not exactly on the same page there. Joseph Samuel. Corey Burke about 75 yards away from goal here. And just going to send it into the channel as Mueller unable to handle it.
Tyler, at the beginning of this game, you asked, playing on a wet surface, what's it like? I said you have to get your body behind the ball, and that's a perfect example of why.
McCartney gets rid of Mueller momentarily. Back for Samuel. Samuel whips in a service. It's a good one, but getting there first is Taylor Mueller. Back out to Chambers. Aaron Jones. Syracuse product Nenko whipping in a ball, and it did take a deflection, so we'll have a corner for Bethlehem. Again, Tyler Terrens along with former Virginia Tech Hokie Morgan Conklin at Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University for this matinee special. Just about a half an hour in. Still 0-0 as both teams trying to find a breakthrough and an opportunity for Bethlehem maybe to do just that, as it's going to be Chambers on top of the corner. First corner of the afternoon for the Steel. Chambers directing traffic from the far side of Goodman Stadium. Plays it short. Whipped in by Real. It's a good ball. And Tambakis waited till the last second to come off his line and able to hang on to it.
By playing that short corner, it makes the defense adjust to where the ball's going. And we saw in the other corner, if the ball's played in and it bounces, it can be any little cleanup there. So great job by Tambakis just to come off his line and hold that ball. No rebound necessary, just hold it.
And especially with the slick surfaces as well as a slick ball, any sort of flick on is going to have a bit more pace than it normally would. And I think that's the thought process with going short on that corner.
Well, and that's why for Charleston's corner, Skylar Thomas's little touch was so important, because it changes the way the ball's going.
Romario Williams with a strike, and it's off the post and in. Romario Williams does it again as he sneaks it by Jake McGuire. It's a 1-0 lead for the visitors.
We've talked so much about Romario Williams being big, physical, and making his runs behind the back line. He didn't have to do it there. Takes his touch 1v1, gets a look central, about 25 yards out, and goes for that near post, saw the space he wanted, and just rips it with the right foot.
Well, he kept it low, and especially like a slick day like today, it had a bit more pace than it normally would, and Jake McGuire beaten on the near post. A well-placed shot from Romario Williams, his 8th on the season, and it seems like it's a race between him and Dane Kelly for the USL Golden Boot. As Romario Williams, again, his 8th of the year, and he continues to be on a goal-scoring tear, and the Battery as a team have just been in phenomenal form. Romario Williams with the exclamation point here in the 31st minute. Great start for the Battery, but again, it's Bethlehem conceding early.
Yeah, and Williams just taking advantage of the space he saw, but the shot he put on frame, he kept it low, so it was going to go on frame, and also he hit it with pace. So if it hit the ground, it would slide, and it had all that pace behind it, which is why that was different from some of the other far-out shots we saw earlier.
Well, we talked about the physical presence from Williams, and he just saw him there shedding off Aaron Jones. It was like he wasn't even there at all, as Jones, who is a very solid defender, was just trying to get in front of Williams, but Williams had other thoughts, and his thoughts turned into a beautiful goal, as that is 20 goals on the season for Charleston. They are dominant in the attacking third, stout in the defensive, And that's why they right now could become the sole possession of first place in the Eastern Conference right now, tied with the Tampa Bay Rowdies, obviously with this game in hand. Woodbine with the long throw-in. Hugh Roberts up for the header. And you see the ball just stopping dead at a puddle over on the far side of Goodman.
The worst. When you expect it to keep rolling to you and then it just stops in that puddle. Definitely changes your approach to the ball. Obviously not the best cross coming back across the face of the goal, but it's the worst when it just, that's why these rainy days are so difficult to play in, because obviously the surface is slick, but you just have those spots where the ball just stops dead.
Chambers trying to find Nenko on the left wing. Fans, today's match plays an important role in the close partnership between Major League Soccer and the USL to test the use of a video assistant referee, or VAR. VAR will be implemented during key match-changing situations and serious missed incidents on the field. For more information on VAR and its use in the match, visit uslsoccer.com/VAR. As an opportunity for Guerra was thwarted on the near side. And Bethlehem was dominating this game early on. They were in clear possession. They were dominating the possession category. They had a couple of chances here and there, but when you have a Romario Williams on your team for Charleston on the road, even though it seems like you weren't in the game and you weren't playing your best football, he has the capability of changing the game and changing the game with a goal.
Well, looking at possession, 61% to Bethlehem, but Charleston took advantage of their opportunity. They had a big-time player step up, take a shot. We've seen Bethlehem take a few shots from about 20, 25 yards out. Nothing's come from it, but then you see Romario Williams. It's not going his team's way, so he just steps up and puts one away.
Must be nice for Mike Anhauser to have a player like that.
Yeah, it must be nice. Just to know that you have someone you can depend on. And we've been talking this whole time about how he's big, strong, physical, and the runs he makes, and he just takes that one all by himself.
Ball falls to Samuel. Charleston right now leading the shots category. Bethlehem dominating possession, so maybe a bit more purposeful possession for Bethlehem might be needed in the later stages of the first half and going into the second, as Kone not exactly happy with the call from head referee Jonathan Weiner. Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on SiriusXM FC, Channel 85. Also, don't forget, SiriusXM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check uslsoccer.com for dates and times. So again, if you're just joining us, Romario Williams giving Charleston the lead in the 31st minute on a solo goal, about 25 yards away out. Able to sneak it inside the near post and beat Jake McGuire. His 8th goal of the season. Only Dane Kelly has more than him with 9 after converting off a penalty on last night's Reno win against Seattle Sounders. And after a rough start, Reno has been in phenomenal form as of late. Real finding Nenko. Nenko with a good ball towards Kone as he was just trying to flick it on. Actually, I believe that was Corey Burke, and he was offside. Great ball in from Chris Nenko on the near side.
Great ball in and a nice little run from Burke out of the midfield. He and Kone have kind of interchanged a couple times, but I really like that ball, and I like seeing Nenko find his way wide. He's been playing more central throughout this first half, but he's starting to bring a little bit of width. And then you see the Burke-Kone interchange. I like the movement between those three.
It'll be Woodbine back for Portillo. Flick on from Guerra, just out of the reach of Williams, but coming up to clean the pieces is Hackshaw. Here's Chang 1v1. Looking to size up the youngster Real. Thomas. Nice little ball in. It's Chang. Trying for the back heel, but cut out by Dawson McCartney. Trying to spin off was Burke, but there in on the mix was Taylor Mueller. Charleston with a lot more confidence now after the Williams goal in the 31st. Hackshaw just flicking it over the top for Woodbine. Chambers goes to ground, but a neat little play from Hackshaw. Guerra with some space, looking for an opening. It takes a deflection, and it will be a Charleston corner, as they could be looking to double their delight here in the 39th.
Bethlehem doing a better job there of condensing the space. Guerra was in that same position from where Romero's goal came from, just in the middle there, but they're able to condense the space. But once again, you knock it out for a corner kick, which has proven to be dangerous.
Second Charleston corner of the afternoon. It'll be an in-swinger coming from Michael Chang. Header won by the 17-year-old Matt Real. Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit nikesoccer.com. Bortillo towards the back post. Williams with some great hustle to beat Aaron Jones to the ball. Already on a goal today. Hackshaw. Back over for Higashi. Higashi sizing up Aaron Jones. Joseph Samuel giving him some pressure. Header from Real, falls to Williams again, but there is James Chambers. Aaron Jones trying to get it out of the area, but Charleston with some nice forecheck, if you will, just keeping the ball in the Bethlehem area. Thomas with some space. Out wide for Chang again. Finding the feet of Guerra inside the box. Back for Chang. Whips in his service. There's Higashi, the one-time shot. And just on the wrong side of the post. Great movement from Charleston as they continue to put the clamps down on Bethlehem.
Really nice movement, finding the ball wide, back in and then out. Chang with the beautiful back post service. Higashi wide open on that back post, just misses his mark, but that's really good movement, finding the ball wide, central, back out, wide again, because it makes the defense have to shift and try to find their runners.
Well, when Charleston goes forward, I mean, they really go forward. Both outside backs are involved. Everybody in the midfield is in on the action. And they just seem to know exactly what they want to do with the ball. And that's part of the reason why they're currently in first place in the Eastern Conference, because when they go forward, you see a lot of teams like a Bethlehem who may have possession, but just end up not having the numbers to be able to convert on the other end. But Charleston constantly just throwing numbers forward.
Well, and they have numbers and they have space going forward.
You see there, Corey Burke and McCartney. Meeting of the minds in the middle of the pitch. Portillo brings it down nicely. Kone trying to go out wide for Samuel. Bit of a hospital ball there from Kone as Woodbine gets tangled up. Samuel took a little bit of a shot after Kone's ball was a bit slow getting to him, so Samuel had to stick that left foot in.
For more information, visit nikesoccer.com.
Definitely a hospital pass there. Wasn't hit to him hard enough from Kone. Leads to a tackle. That's why those are called hospital balls, because one person ends up maybe getting a little dinged up for no reason.
Not necessarily in the hospital, but I think you folks at home get the picture.
Leads to an unnecessary tackle.
Exactly.
If the ball had enough pace on it, was hit well enough, there would be no need for any tackle there.
Guerra working on Trebet. Aaron Jones coming over to help, and Aaron Jones ends up winning it. Still with some work to do. And it will be a Bethlehem throw-in. USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting www.uslsoccer.com, and then follow them on Twitter @USL. Foul called on Bethlehem.
There hasn't been much rhythm, I would say, especially since that goal for Charleston. Both teams kind of going back and forth. Charleston had a nice build-up, but there's been a lot of play in the midfield, but no real consistency, I would say, from either team.
Think that the slick surfaces could have anything to do with that?
Yes, but at this point in the game, the team should be used to it and should have made the changes they need to and figured out the best way to pass and how they have to pass to get it around. So earlier on, I would say yes, but at this point in the game, you should be used to it.
Well, we are into the 44th. Romario Williams is striking the 31st, the difference maker at the moment. Real. Nice little 1-2. McCartney. Real again. Looking to line it up. The service is a decent one, but again, nobody on the back post, and Sekou Kone pleading to his youngster on the outside to maybe look for feet in the middle of the pitch, but some of the youngsters as well as some of the mainstays not exactly on the same page.
Yeah, just a bit of a miscommunication. I actually don't mind that ball from Real. If he can get a little more bend on it, I think it'll give his team more of an opportunity to get on the other end. He hit it a little flat, so it was just going towards the end line. Obviously, I think Kone is going to want that at his feet because he's a player that likes to have the ball and he's good with his back to goal. So that's another option going forward, but I don't mind that look.
Here's Guerra with some space going for the shot. A little similar to Romario Williams, but not similar in the result, as it'll be a goal kick for Jake Maguire. But you can see the Charleston strikers just trying to keep the ball on the deck when they do put it on frame, hoping for a nice bounce like they got on the Williams goal.
Which if they're going, if either team's going to take those long range shots, they have to be kept low because whether it's a deflection, a skip, it could change the game.
And that is going to do it for the first half. No added time here at Goodman Stadium. Romario Williams with his 8th goal this season. He cannot be stopped, nor can the Charleston Battery, as they have not lost a match since April 8th. And right now they are on their way to another 3 points with a 1-0 lead at the half. Romario Williams' 31st minute strike is the difference maker. We'll be back with halftime stats, highlights, and oh so much more when we come back. 1-0 at the half.
Sara Lee Artisano. It's no ordinary bread. It's born from the question, what's next for sliced bread? And we quickly found the answer was an everyday artisan-style bread with wholesome, rich ingredients, as well as the soft texture you love, cut thick with a dash of flour dusting. Taste firsthand how Artisano turns even the simplest meals you make mouth-wateringly memorable. Sara Lee Artisano Bakery Bread. Make the routine remarkable.
Lehigh Valley Insulation keeps you cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. And with 19 years worth of satisfied customers in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, we've probably insulated one of your neighbor's homes. Our team of older home specialists delivers swift and efficient white glove service, insulating attics, exterior walls, and virtually any under-insulated areas, saving wear and tear on your heating and cooling systems while adding value to your home and providing year-round comfort that pays for itself. Take comfort in Lehigh Valley Insulation. Comfort that pays.
The first soccer ball was kicked in Bethlehem in 1904. Now, 112 years later, it's time for the rebirth of Bethlehem Steel FC. Herbert's in the box, and there's the first goal in Steel FC history. For tickets, visit BethlehemSteelFC.com or call 844-STEEL-FC.
You've lived with it for too long. That recurring joint or muscle pain that makes everyday tasks a strain and repetitive movement almost impossible. Why put it off? The sooner you seek treatment, the more options you'll have. The faster you'll be back in full stride. The latest non-surgical solutions. The region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
Halftime at Goodman Stadium as there are some youngsters having a blast at the intermission as Charleston right now up 1-0 thanks to a strike from Romario Williams in the 31st minute that beat Jake Maguire on the near post. Tyler Terrence along with former Virginia Tech Hokie Morgan Conklin. Morgan, what have you seen from the first half?
Well, I think both teams kind of struggled to really get into the game, but then Bethlehem has had a lot of the possession. Not all of it has been dangerous and going forward, but they've definitely had the ball more. But once Charleston found the back of the net, they really kind of tried to get back towards their possession, tried to even it out a little bit more. But in the second half, I want to see more consistency from both teams. I want to see more of a style of play rather than just little spurts of it.
And there you can see the stats from the first half. And like my broadcast partner said, Bethlehem right now with 57% possession, but it hasn't resulted in all that many shots. And Charleston on the other side, while they have been getting looks on goal, only 2 of them have been on frame. 1 of them ended up in the back of the net. But like you said, Charleston starting to play with a bit more confidence after that Romario Williams goal, and he has been in spectacular form. His 8th goal of the season, just 1 goal behind Dane Kelly. I mean, what have you seen from him that makes him so good?
Well, just the fact that coming into this game, Bethlehem was really worried about his timed runs behind the center backs, which they should be. He's shown those, but then his goal comes off something completely individual, which they weren't expecting at the moment. So he's a player who can do it all.
Well, it's 1-0 at the half. Romario Williams with the strike in the 31st on a rainy day here in Lehigh Valley. Right now we're going to take a look at one of the best players in the USL at the moment, Dane Kelly.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars, innovative technology, and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
The USL's all-time leading scorer has added another accolade to his resume.
Here's Kelly. And he's got the hat trick! Dane Kelly has done it again! Back-to-back games. 3 goals for Kelly.
Dane Kelly is now the only player in USL history to score back-to-back hat tricks. Kelly notched his first 3-goal game in Reno's first win in club history.
Carries the ball ahead. Into an attacking position. He scored in the 2nd minute.
Together before they get another goal.
Brown Kelly, that's 2 in 6 minutes. Kelly, he steps over and he puts it in off the post. That is a hat trick in the 66th minute.
The second occurred in front of a home crowd, leading Reno to their first ever win at Greater Nevada Field.
Brent Richards finds Kelly, and Dane Kelly, goal! Kelly finds net again. Here's Kelly, and he's got the hat trick. Dane Kelly has done it again.
Kelly was honored with 2 USL Player of the Week recognitions following his back-to-back performances. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
Back at Goodman Stadium, And there you see the difference maker at the moment. Romario Williams in the 31st minute getting Charleston on the board, a team that has been phenomenal. We'll be back with halftime highlights.
Make it iced, then make it happen. With flavors like butter pecan or new coconut cream pie. It's America's iced coffee. Whenever, wherever. America runs on Dunkin'.
The reason we got into the heating and air conditioning business was for the families. Throughout the years, we've built our family of trained technicians and employees. I love being able to meet with our customers for quotes because I can make sure D&D delivers exactly what they need. I'm proud to be the third generation owner of D&D Heating and Cooling, and I'm proud to have my family right by my side. Call our family for a free quote today.
Shh. Can you feel it? That vibe. It's here on America's best beaches. Feel it in unique mashups of amazing, crazy, and wow. So within every moment, you live amplified. St. Pete Clearwater, solar powered and radiating 1 million megawatts of possibility. Dive in deeper at liveamplified.com.
It can happen over time or in a snap. If joint or muscle pain has taken you out of the game, we can identify the root cause of your problem and develop a sport-specific treatment plan to get you moving again. Over 400 medical experts strong, the region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
Make it iced, then make it happen. With flavors like butter pecan or new coconut cream pie. It's America's iced coffee. Whenever, wherever. America runs on Dunkin'.
Halftime here at Goodman Stadium. Charleston Battery up 1-0 over the host Bethlehem Steel FC. Tyler Terrens along with former Virginia Tech Hokie Morgan Conklin. As Romario Williams' strike in the 31st minute is the difference maker right now, and we'll take a look at some of the noteworthy moments from the first 45 minutes as it was Bethlehem early on who really seemed to be in control.
Yeah, they started going forward, but then for Charleston, Obi Woodbine just takes his 1v1, but then you have Aaron Jones coming in with a beautiful tackle inside the 18, getting down low for that ball.
Both teams had a couple half chances early on, and now you see Sekou Kone starting to get on the mix.
Yeah, taking that shot from the edge of the box, the 18. I like this little ball back to him. He takes a nice touch to set it up, but just doesn't get a lot on the shot.
Bethlehem would have the majority of the possession in the first half. They would continue to knock on the door, but it would just be sort of those half chances that never really came to anything really special.
But it was nice seeing Matt Real get forward on that one. But then for Charleston, this nice corner in by Portillo. Beautiful touch coming off of Skylar Thomas to really make it difficult in the box there.
Jake McGuire with a nice reaction save as it would be Charleston who would continue to put pressure on, and then finally the breakthrough.
Beautiful ball in by Obi Woodbine. Just a nice touch from Romario Williams. Turning, getting inside, knows where he is on the field and just strikes it to the near post.
Woodbine will get the assist on that Williams goal. Williams with his 8th of the season, just one behind Dane Kelly at the moment.
And that goal looked like it had a deflection off of Roberts there, also looking at it from that angle.
And Charleston would continue to play with a lot of confidence after the Williams goal as they would be in clear control for the final stages of the first half.
Yeah, really nice look there by Higashi. Just doesn't get enough on the end of it, but he was open on the far post.
Well, it's all smiles from some of the students who have found their way out to the game today. But right now, Bethlehem need to do a little bit more to try and find their way back into this one, as they have had a lot of possession, but not necessarily meaningful possession, Morgan.
And that's something to build on in the second half. They've established possession, which is great, but now build it up higher up the field more consistently. Charleston have not lost a match since April 8th against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and they have been in phenomenal form, having won 4 and tied 2 in their last 6 matches. And we'll take a look at some of their upcoming matches mixed in there along with the U.S. Open Cup match, but a lot of difficult tests on the horizon for Charleston. Yeah, and they close out their 3-game road swing at New York Red Bulls this weekend. Back home for a couple games, which will be nice, but it's definitely going to be good if they can get the win today on the road. Well, we're really starting to enter the heart of the USL season. We're right at the 1/3 point
with about 2/3 of the season left. And for Bethlehem, they're on a nice little homestand here after being on the road for 3 games, taking 3 out of the 9 points on the road.
Yeah, nice for them to be back at home for the first time since April 29th. That's a long time, a couple games, but against Harrisburg City and then Ottawa at home before going back on the road.
Part of the Keystone rivalry with Harrisburg. They have a couple of games with them in the upcoming month. They lost the first matchup with the Islanders 3-2 at Harrisburg City. They'll be home against HBC on May 28th, and with a couple of other nice matchups against Ottawa, St. Louis, New York Red Bulls, and again HBC, again part of that Keystone rivalry. Always great when those Pennsylvania teams match up, as Bethlehem are looking to try to get back into this match, down 1-0 thanks to a strike from Romario Williams in the 31st minute, coming off a 2-1 loss at Cincinnati. And this has sort of been the story of Brendan Burke's team. They win a game, they lose a game, they win a game, they lose a game, but they're always playing consistent, nice possession-based football. From what you've seen, you've called a couple of games with them so far this season, what is the one thing that they need to do to sort of take that next leap into playing consistent football?
Just the final decision-making, I think. It's talking with Brendan Burke, a big thing that he was wanting from his team is aggressive defending, and then be able to create when they're aggressive on the ball. And I think they've started to possess and they've established that, but the creating aspect and the final decision, I think, is what's lacking. Sometimes taking a shot from far out and settling for that when they could build up more. So I think it's just the final decision making.
And here we see the Eastern Conference standings entering today, and obviously right now, if the score were to hold, Charleston would take sole possession of first place. And there's the bottom half of the Eastern Conference standings. You see that Bethlehem is on the outside looking in terms of the playoff picture, but again, they have a lot of games in hand, so they need to try to take advantage of these opportunities with games in hand to try and get back into it on 9 points. They have 2 games in hand. But from this Charleston team, they seem like a juggernaut. They're so stout at the back, even missing one of their main key defenders, Forrest Lasso. They have seemed to be so in sync on the back line.
Well, and that's why for Bethlehem, this would be such a good game to pick up and points to get. 1, you're at home. 2, against the top team in the league. And also just to build confidence. So as you said, it's not an easy task. It's going to be difficult, obviously, against a strong Charleston team who they have no need to push forward. They will, because that's the style of play that they have, but there's no need for them to push. They can settle for possession, but a win for Bethlehem today would do a lot just for confidence in terms of points, and just they've played well. They want to have something to show for it.
Absolutely, and Charleston on one side just seems like they're doing all of these things right. Again, they haven't lost since April 8th. They're on a 6-match unbeaten streak, including a U.S. Open Cup match. Again, they will play the Jacksonville Armada in the next round of the U.S. Open Cup. That'll be the 3rd round, but this is a Charleston team that obviously has one of the best strikers in the league in Romario Williams, one of the best midfielders in Justin Portillo. Forrest Lasso, albeit he's suspended today for card accumulation, he has 4 goals on the season. He's dangerous for set pieces. This could be even worse for Bethlehem had Forrest been in the lineup. But again, like you said, Morgan, with sort of those missing pieces and a newcomer like Miles Robinson, this is a great opportunity for Bethlehem to maybe just even get a point, because you have to be realistic with this Charleston team who is at the top of the table. As here's an early opportunity. Williams puts it on his left foot, and a diving stop from McGuire. What a big save from Jake McGuire, who's furious with his back line. Romario Williams almost had his second of the afternoon just seconds into the second half.
Well, and McGuire should be frustrated with his back line there. Williams, a simple touch around Roberts there. Huge save from McGuire to get down low. It's not an easy task when you have somebody like Williams that close in front of goal going for that far post. McGuire, fantastic save from him.
Well, I bet you Romario Williams is going to be shaking his head in the film room after he takes another look at that one. As this corner sent into the area, Corey Burke trying to get it out, but not even a half clearance, probably a quarter clearance at that, as McCartney finally getting ahead to it. And now Joseph Samuel off to the races, battling with Hackshaw. Hackshaw does nice to keep it in play. Portillo playing Williams, shedding off Chambers. Williams going out wide for Guerra. But what an opportunity for Williams right at the beginning of the second half. Guerra working on the far side. Chang, a big touch into space. Can he get there? Back for Guerra. Guerra with the one-time strike. McGuire fumbles it initially, but able to collect. I mean, Romario Williams, if you give that opportunity to him 10 times, he's finishing 9 of them. But it was a great weed from McGuire, who was leaning towards that far post, knowing Williams was going to try to place it there.
great placement and just body positioning by McGuire, because it's difficult going against one of the top scorers in the league, so confident right in front of goal. Not an easy task.
Huge save from Jake McGuire in the 46th minute, keeping it 1-0. And Tyler Terrence, Morgan Conklin, former Virginia Tech Hokie, here at Goodman Stadium for this Eastern Conference matchup on the campus of Lehigh University. Mario Williams' strike in the 31st minute. Right now, the difference between these two teams. Hugh Roberts with a nice step. Burke doing well to hold it up. Hounded by the likes of Aviel Hackshaw as well as Higashi, who ends up getting fouled. What a great story Higashi is. Got signed by the Battery through an open tryout originally from Japan, paid his own way from Japan all the way to Charleston just to try and get an opportunity to find his way onto the roster. He actually ended up scoring a goal in the Carolina Cup Challenge, was just a friendly with a number of teams. It was a goal against the Seattle Sounders, and that was his first opportunity in a friendly. And ended up getting a solidified spot as Portillo is off the mark there, just a bit wide going for the curler, but Higashi just a great worker in the middle of the field and has become a day-to-day starter for Mike Anhauser.
And he just has to be someone, if you have someone on your team like that who has worked so hard just to have an opportunity to try to make the team, you know he plays every single game, just so thankful for the opportunity to be on that field, and that's just inspiring for any other player on his team to know that you have someone who's just so excited to be there and just wants to make an impact and wants to play. That's just one of those positive energies that just spreads throughout the team.
Joseph Samuel called for the foul there. Higashi with 1 assist on the season. Spent some time playing professionally in Australia. Woodbine sending this along through the channel for Romario Williams. Poked away by Hugh Roberts. Finds Samuel. Still with some work to do, though. Nice ball in from Aaron Jones. Kone holding it up. Chambers goes out wide for Nenko. Nenko finding the outside back, Real. Real gets through Mueller. Number of Charleston players making the argument that it should be a goal kick, but it will be out for a corner. First of the second half for Bethlehem.
Really nice build-up for Bethlehem there. You see Kone coming back, hold the ball, turns, finds Chambers to then spring it wide to Real getting forward. They have numbers getting forward. They're getting their target involved, and then he was working hard to get in the box. That's a good sign.
Nenko on the set piece. It's a good ball in. Tambakis off his line with strong fist. Portillo. Nice little touch out for Romario Williams. Williams looking for an option. Finding Chang and now trying to bend it in for Garrett. But a nice job from Trebet and the Bethlehem back line. Nanko has Samuel out here on the right wing. Samuel with a bit too heavy of a touch, showing a little bit too much to Higashi, who's trying to get around the youngster McCartney. But the Dartmouth College commit does well. Great ball from Chambers, finding Sekou Kone. Nenko around one defender. Kone again going for the curler, but always going over the bar. Good movement from Bethlehem as they spent a lot of time on the ball, but again, it results in a chance that never really even challenges Tambakis.
And a beautiful ball from Chambers into Kone. Kone's on the wing, waving his arms in the air. And then they have Real making that run around. If Kone can slip him in, that's a much better decision than just hitting the long shot once again. Real coming with speed, has the width. Why not play him?
Williams again striding forward with great purpose around Roberts. Williams taken down. Is there a foul call? No, says the referee, and will play on. Good challenge right at the last from Hugh Roberts as well as Ken Trebet, who was in on the mix. But you see again the pace from Romario Williams giving Bethlehem all sorts of problems at the back.
He makes it look so easy. His first touch sets him up for that run, and just the way he blows by those Bethlehem defenders. He makes it look so simple, but on the other end, a great defensive play, nice tackle, a smart play.
Chambers with a nice one-touch ball over to McCartney. Aaron Jones looking for the target up front. Kone stepping to it first. Got Corey Burke posting up on Mueller. McCartney going for the early service again. Doesn't get past the first defender. Bethlehem still on top of it. Looking for a breakthrough here. Nanko again. He's been busy out on the left wing in the opening stages of the second half. Nanko still on it. Poked away momentarily by Chang. Rial trying to get around Thomas. Great sliding challenge from Skylar Thomas. And he's able to get rid of it as well, although Bethlehem keeping Charleston in their own area. Chambers with a good service. There's the flick on from Kone, and it's just wide. And you can see the substitutes who are warming up on the far side who are in disbelief that Sekou Kone, who has 4 goals on the season, missed an opportunity like that. Great ball in from Chambers.
Great run by Chambers, too. Kone just getting up for it. A beautiful ball in. Looks like it skims his head. He doesn't get complete contact, which is why it goes just wide. But Kone is so good in front of the goal. That's why I've been saying don't settle for the long shots. Build up, because he and this team, they have attackers that are so good in front of goal. Why take the long shots? If you build, it's a much better opportunity.
Well, also between him and Corey Burke, I mean, they're both around 6'3", 6'4". Why not whip balls in? Why not try to get as close to goal as possible and be able to utilize your size in the area?
And they also are smart with their body, their movement, the way they don't just stand there and use their size. They adjust to where the ball's going. They have good runs, so use that.
Well, after the Romario Williams chance right at the beginning of the second half, it seems like it was a bit of a wake-up call for Bethlehem, who certainly have had a number of chances in the past 3 or 4 minutes. Kone getting on his horse, giving the back line some problems, and Tambakis has to get rid of it. McCartney going for the early ball again. Kone gives a thumbs up to the youngster. Good idea. Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune in to USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on SiriusXM FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget, SiriusXM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Into the 55th minute here at Goodman Stadium. Romario Williams, 31st minute strike, giving Charleston the lead. Bethlehem, though, have been on the front foot as of late, almost a near turnover in the middle of the pitch as Corey Burke slipped a little bit, trying to dispossess Charleston. Here's Portillo. Leads the USL with 5 assists. Higashi showing a bit too much to Samuel. Nice little flick on from Burke. Samuel goes to ground. Hackshaw also there. Bethlehem playing with a bit more confidence now. You see the shots on frame for both teams. Bethlehem have only challenged Tambakis just once. Charleston, on the other hand, have made Jake McGuire work a little bit. Rial with another overlapping run. Can he get delivery in? A great challenge from Taylor Mueller, who's able to keep it in bounds in one motion. Williams in transition, finding Guerra. Guerra lining it up. Tipped over the by McGuire, and it'll be a corner for Charleston. Guerra and Williams, the dynamic duo up front for Mike Anhauser.
Charleston and team so good, building in possession, but also going forward quickly. Guerra, a nice turn, gets the ball back on his right foot, tries to go on frame.
The short corner, bicycle kick clearance from Kentrabet. Very athletic play. Higashi towards the back post. Nobody home for Charleston. Flicked out of play momentarily. Nice play from Portillo. Samuel able to collect. Chambers doing well to keep possession. Trebet up the sideline. Takes a nice skip for Nenko.
Very athletic play. Right in front of goal on the 6. Can you do that, Tyler?
I cannot do that. Can you, Morgan?
Nope. That's for sure.
Maybe with about 17 Red Bulls I can do that, but a little bit early, an 11 a.m. kickoff, you know?
Justin Portillo so good on the ball. Looking at Opta, he's connected 40 passes. 41 now for his team. The next most is 27, and he's connected on 93% of his passes. He might not, have the stats in terms of today, but just such a big part of the team, a connector, so smooth on the ball too.
Portillo leading the USL in assists, and somebody that Brendan Burke has a ton of respect for, having coached him at Reading United, the PDL side in Pennsylvania, and knowing full and well that Portillo is somebody who can absolutely destroy you in the middle of the field, just playing directly through you. And that's something that Burke said that Bethlehem needed to be careful of, was just keeping the game in front of him. And that's why you don't see them chasing on the back line, because if they're forward like Kone, like Corey Burke, and Nenko and Samuel are to be a bit too stretched, then Portillo is going to play through them.
And they've definitely done a good job with that game plan.
Jones doesn't get it past the first defender, Woodbine. Chambers after it. Guerra doing a good job shedding off Trebet, and now here's Charleston with numbers forward. Portillo leading the charge. Out wide for Higashi. 1v1 with Aaron Jones. Slip through for Portillo. Back for Guerra. Excuse me, that was Williams. Now here comes Chang, saved by McGuire. Higashi with the strike, and McGuire's there again. Well, it could be 3 or 4-0 if not for Jake McGuire. He has been phenomenal for Bethlehem here early in the second half. Great opportunity for Charleston on the counter.
Keeping Jake McGuire busy today, that's for sure. He stays with the rebound, is able to stick with the ball. Higashi doesn't get enough on that final shot, but Justin Portillo getting in there, creating, going forward.
Here's a miscue again from Bethlehem. Guerra off to the races. Putting the brakes on. Has Higashi again. Back for Guerra. Williams in the area, trying to squeeze his way through. Cleared out by Aaron Jones, but only as far as Guerra. Higashi trying to bend it around the defense. Deflected out by Samuel, but a corner coming up for Charleston. And we'll take another look at that opportunity for Charleston. Big save from McGuire.
And that was the final bit of 3 to 4 really good chances for Charleston. Shots on frame, making a big mess right in front, but McGuire, good job, just staying calm, staying with the play, coming up big there.
A lot of these chances coming off turnovers in the middle of the pitch for Brendan Burke's side. They need to be careful in the middle of the field with those square passes that can lead to easy counters on the other end. Portillo, good service towards the back post, looking for Skylar Thomas, deflected out, but only as far as Chang. Chang whips it back in. And there it is. Excuse me, no goal, offside. Far side assistant referee. Atulo Guerra not exactly happy with the call.
Bethlehem not able to clear the ball right away. Second ball coming in through.
I think they're going for a replay, are they?
Couldn't really see it from our angle. We're not flush with the last defender. So difficult to see from our angle. It looked like the final defender may have stepped up to catch him offsides, but we didn't have the best angle from that.
Well, this is a VAR game. And you can see Jonathan Weiner, the head referee having a conversation with the fifth referee. And fans, today's match plays an important role in the close partnership between Major League Soccer and the USL to test the use of a video assistant referee or VAR. The VAR will be implemented during key match-changing situations and serious missed incidents on the field. For more information on VAR and its match use, visit uslsoccer.com. So you can see there that the head referee having a conversation with the fifth official as Joseph Samuel's day is done. Brendan Burke thanking him for his efforts in the opening 62 minutes of this match.
Substitution was sponsored by Lehigh Valley Health Network.
And coming into the game is Amoy Brown. Charleston looking to operate again on the counter. Guerra and Romario Williams offbeat there. So we saw the opportunity for the head referee to use the VAR system, but it is tough when you don't have that camera angle that's exactly flush with the back line, like you said. So therefore, I mean, it needs to be conclusive evidence for the fifth official to be able to overturn the call, and without that camera angle, it's a little bit tough for the head referee to do so. Guerra around a couple defenders. Shot deflected in front. Guerra going to chase after it. Hugh Roberts and McCartney in on the mix, and it will be a corner coming up for Charleston.
Bethlehem looks a little tired right now. Hugh Roberts just kind of slowly jogging over to close that space. And then behind him, McCartney slowly coming to help. I'm not sure if it's just the way the ball rolled into that corner, if they're starting to get tired, but that's kind of what the sense is right now on the field.
Charleston with 6 corners on the day. Bethlehem with 2. Bethlehem were on the front foot about 5 or 10 minutes ago. As Skylar Thomas up for the header, and it's always going wide. And going back to your point in terms of being tired, Morgan, they were throwing a lot of numbers forward about 10 minutes ago, but they weren't able to cash in. And I know when you played, if sometimes when you throw numbers forward, you get a lot of good chances and you don't cash in, it can be really deflating for a team.
Yeah, but on the other end of that, if Bethlehem can defend well and break the first line of pressure, not turn the ball over, they've had great chances going forward, especially in this second half. So why not defend hard and then go forward and try to take advantage? Because they had a lot of opportunities earlier in this half.
Bethlehem still looking for that equalizer. Coming off a 2-1 loss to Cincinnati, they'd hate to drop all 6 points in the last 2 matches. Nice ball out wide. Here's the substitute. Brown keeps it low, but Mueller able to get there. And the clearance falls right to the foot of Higashi. Charleston again. Romario Williams kept his run onside, but the pass was a bit too much out of his reach. A bit too much zip on it from Guerra, and that seems to be the combination up front. Guerra receives his ball at his feet and then is looking right for Romario Williams, who's making those darting runs, splitting the defenders.
And then when they get closer to goal, they're both great options, both supporting when the ball gets, especially towards the corner. So those two just playmaking together, creating chances. You can't leave either one of them around goal.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit nikesoccer.com. McCartney finding Aaron Jones moving forward. Jones's pass cut out by Woodbine. Nice one-touch football here from Charleston to get out of trouble. Portillo linking up with Williams, who's trying to hold off the defender. Ball chipped through for Garrett. Portillo running with him, shows the touch a bit too much to Jones, and it will be a foul called against Portillo, who Aaron Jones helps him up a little bit, and there is the challenge from Portillo, who was just trying to get on the end of that ball. But again, Bethlehem down 1-0, starting to throw numbers a little bit more forward, and every time that Bethlehem turns the ball over in the middle of the pitch, it looks wide open for Charleston on the other end.
Well, especially the way they send the numbers forward. And then if you have Guerra and Williams on the attacking end going the other way, they can create space no matter where they go. They'll find the width. They're fast, so they'll find their speed. So it's definitely difficult when the ball turns over.
You can see Charleston, while they may not be in possession most of the time, they certainly are taking advantage of the opportunities that they have in front of goal with 15 shots. minority of them being on frame. Sent ahead for Williams, but Ken Trebet as well as Hugh Roberts back there for manager Brendan Burke. Kone looking for a penetrating pass, trying to find Nenko. Nice touch there to get away from trouble from Mueller.
Fantastic composure. It's not easy when you have someone with such speed and so good up top coming towards you to close that space. Very good, just heads up play, smart decision.
Well, Charleston are missing a couple of key pieces in the middle of the field for his Lasso. 5 yellow cards accumulation, leading the league in yellow cards this season. So he missed today's game, as well as Anungo for Charleston, also missing the game due to 2 yellow cards against Harrisburg City. So a couple changes made for Mike Anhauser, but they're seemingly working out just fine as Chambers bringing it down. Chang giving chase. And he's going to wisely see this one out. It'll be a throw-in, albeit about 109 yards away from goal.
Not a bad idea from Chambers. Real just wasn't on the same page with that one. But if Bethlehem can keep this ball in the corner, try to lock it in, this will give them a good opportunity. Look at the numbers they've pushed forward. They need to keep the ball in this corner because if it breaks that pressure, they have a lot of transition to do.
Skylar Thomas, somebody who's getting a start today due to the absences from disciplinary issues for Lasso and Anunga. Syracuse product, along with a number of other players on this pitch, as well as Chris Nenko and Miles Robinson, all former Orangemen. Guerra. Williams trying to turn away from the give and go, but a solid challenge from Trebet. Chambers with an outside of the football, trying to find Corey Burke, but it's just out of his reach. Although it looked like he could have kept going and maybe latched onto the end of it.
That's a beautiful ball played in by Chambers. I think Robinson did a fantastic job defensively, though, to keep Burke from getting a touch on the end of that. He put his body in the right position where Burke didn't think he could get a touch when looking back at it. He definitely had more space.
USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting www.uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL. Higashi dispossessed. Bethlehem with just a little bit more than 20 minutes to try and equalize. Higashi, a little bit too much zip on that one as Guerra thought that it was intended for somebody behind him.
Would have been a nice ball if there was someone on that back post.
Unfortunately, such is not the case for young Higashi. Burke bringing it down nicely with his chest, able to keep it in play. Nenko. Back for the Jamaican international, Corey Burke. Burke gets through. There is some contact, but no call from the referee. Jonathan Weiner says get up to Corey Burke. Bethlehem with a nice spell of possession here. Can they make something tangible of it? Aaron Jones into space. He's got Dawson McCarty with him. Ball towards the back post. Trying to square it back across was Burke. It takes a deflection. And it will be a corner for Bethlehem, who are starting to find another rhythm. They've been in and out of this one. Can they put a tally up on the board while they're currently on the front foot?
Beautiful run by Jones to get the width, a nice bending ball coming in, and Burke just waiting on that back post. There were so many runners towards the near post, he pulled away a little bit, which gave him space.
It's a low cross in. It's a design set piece. Chambers' shot hits Mueller in the face, and then the follow-up from Amoy Brown. Always going over the bar. But a nice little design corner kick play straight from the training ground from Brendan Burke as Chambers' shot was heading towards frame, but Mueller's noggin got in the way.
And those are always more difficult to pull off than you would think because you practice them over and over, but everything has to be on point during the game for it to come off. So the low ball on the ground, you can't have it get have it hit a defender. It has to go right to your player. The layoff has to be on point. And then the shot by Chambers was great, but as you said, Mueller, right place at the right time for him defensively. I don't think personally he felt like he was probably happy he was there. It looks like it was a little painful. But definitely good design play, and it's nice to see those come off for the most part.
Well, after you have a number of corners, it can sort of just become repetitive, and the opposition just expects that you're going to whip it in, so it's a good way to keep the opposition honest and just a good way to mix it up. Unfortunately, Mueller got in the way of the Chambers shot. Here's Nenko looking to just send it into space. Skylar Thomas has a few inches as well as a few pounds on him, able to shield him off the ball. Real. 2 Syracuse products match up on the far side. Thomas able to get rid of it and find the feet of Guerra. Portillo. Into the 73rd minute, Romario Williams' strike in the 31st gave Charleston the lead. They're looking to double it here. Takes a deflection, back for Chang. Trying to give it one more back for Guerra, but just out of his reach, although the ideas are constantly there from Charleston, just the execution a hair off.
And it's just different players getting involved. A couple times it was Higashi, then it was Portillo. Obviously, you always have your mainstay, and Williams and Guerra getting forward. But it was nice to see Chang get in. He's been getting forward a little bit and combining. But that's why it's so difficult to stop this Charleston team, because you don't know who's going to be building up.
Exiting the game for Bethlehem Steel, number 55, Dawson McCartney. Entering the game for Bethlehem Steel, number 60, Josue Monhe.
Josue Monhe finding his way onto the field. There's the shot from Woodbine. As Dante Marini also replacing member of the Charleston Battery. So a nice outing from Dawson McCartney in his first professional start. Monhe finding the feet of Sekou Kone. Chambers going out wide for Nenko. Nenko with a nice touch in towards space, and the ball out wide for Brown, out of his reach. Clock continues to dwindle down for Bethlehem. About 16 minutes left to try to find an equalizer and avoid back-to-back losses. Last win coming against Toronto FC a couple weeks ago. 1-0 win up in North Country.
Also, don't forget SiriusXM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times.
Chang.
Hello?
Williams and Guerra linking up, but the far side official has his flag up. Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune in to USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Sirius XM FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget Sirius XM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Burke. Did well to shield off Robinson, earns a throw-in. Jones on top of it now. Working on the substitute, Dante Marini. Brown. Looking for Nenko. Falls to Chambers, who's shielding off Guerra. Chambers asking from a foul, but not going to get it. Charleston looking to operate quickly, but it's cut out by Trebet. Loads of numbers forward for Bethlehem, trying to find an equalizer here in the 76th. Kone going for goal. It takes a deflection, and it will be out for a corner as Sekou Kone saw nothing, as none of his teammates were giving him any sort of movement, and just decided to have a shot at goal, and it results in a corner.
And if he's going to take that shot from far out and doesn't see anything, a goal would be the best case scenario, but obviously a corner is the next best thing.
Giveaway here, though, and there's a professional foul from Josue Monhe.
Definitely a foul, I think, just trying to stop the attack from Williams, because everyone knows that the ball's at Williams' feet. Even if he's in his defensive half, he's going to be able to carry it and go forward and build something.
Well, Bethlehem tasked with obviously trying to find the equalizer, but at the same time preventing Charleston from getting the second goal. That would probably put it to bed at this point in the 78th minute. Again, Romario Williams with the strike in the 31st to give Charleston the lead. As the Battery are looking to continue their unbeaten streak of 6 games and extend it to 7. Looks like they're on their way for that, but is it going to be all 3 points or 1 point?
Excuse me, camera guy? Hey guys, can you step back a little bit, please? Thank you.
So we did have a substitution recently. Xavier Cordovez replacing Romario Williams in the 77th. So Williams did his job, gets his 8th goal of the season, and right now has the game winner, unless Bethlehem can find an equalizer in the next 12-plus minutes. Charleston doing a good job, though, of trying to see this one out. They're putting pressure when they need to. They're defending when they need to. And they're also looking to operate in transition, because you can't go into sort of that prevent mode when you're just trying to defend, because it's going to leave you vulnerable and it's going to give the opposition a lot of opportunities, as Nanko's somehow able to keep it in bounds. Trying to spray it over for Aaron Jones, but out of his reach. These are opportunities for Bethlehem when they're moving forward to really just keep possession of the ball and put Charleston under pressure, but they're giving it right back.
You could see Kone on the far side near the touchline, just frustrated, throwing his hands up in the air, because he knows that's an opportunity they need to take advantage of, finding Jones wide. He's had great service so far this game, so if he gets forward, the ball has to be played into his feet.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit nikesoccer.com. Jones looking for Burke. Cut out nicely by Robinson. Woodbine along the channel for Cordovez. Working on Roberts. Cordovez sliding it through for Higashi, or rather Marini. Dispossessed by Roberts. Burke holding it up. Working on Miles Robinson, who was loaned out from Atlanta United. Getting his first professional career start after a couple years with Syracuse in 2015 and 2016. This has sort of been the story of Bethlehem all day. It's possession without movement. It's possession without purpose. And that's why they find themselves dominating the possession category, but not seeing anything come of it. The shots on target just aren't there.
And they're doing a good job as a team of staying compact, and then when they have the ball, finding space and getting big. But as you said, the possession just isn't really going anywhere. It's not dangerous. It's not moving up the field. At times it is, but it's not consistently dangerous enough.
Well, you might see a bit more urgency here in the last 9 minutes. Jones in space again. Loads of numbers forward for Bethlehem. Jones with a couple of moves, trying to get away from Marini. Nanko back for Jones again, now out wide for Real. Real working on Chang. Slip through for Monhe, back for Real again. Real towards the front post, never gets past Thomas, but only as far as Jones. Jones going for goal, cut out by Thomas again. Trebet back out wide for Real. Thomas yet again able to cut it out, as the service out from the wings has not necessarily been the best from the youngster Real. And the flag is going to stay down here. Cordova is off to the races. He has Guerra with him. Cordova is going for goal, and there's a diving stop from McGuire. Probably one of the easier saves he's had to make all day. And he's able to keep it 1-0.
Bethlehem getting the numbers forward, but it's one of those things, if there's a turnover, it's difficult. They've sent so many forward. They have to work hard to get back. Cordova has a nicely timed run through, decides to keep it, doesn't get the best look on frame. But in terms of Bethlehem's possession, it's even more difficult to break down Charleston now, because as the game continues to tick down, Charleston just has so many numbers behind the ball, similar to Bethlehem. So it's just, there's not a lot of space. There's not many lanes to play the ball through.
Cordovez. Portillo skipping away from Monje. Here's Marini. Played under Brendan Burke at Northeastern University, where Burke served as an associate head coach. Nanko skipping around Chang. Nanko with great pace, trying to get around Thomas, taken down, but no call. Probably went down a bit easy there. And it will be a goal kick for Charleston.
Nanko has found so much success when he finds his way wide. Tries to cut in, definitely goes to try to get the PK there, doesn't get called, but he has found so much success wide rather than just staying central today, and I think that's something they missed a lot throughout this game, was not having a lot of wide play from their attacking players.
Substitution for Bethlehem Steel FC, exiting the game, number 37, Chris Nanko. Entering the game for Bethlehem Steel, number 38, Sante Moore. Substitution in the 84th minute. That substitution brought to you by Lehigh Valley.
So Sante Moore will replace Chris Nanko in the 84th minute. Now wide for Brown, who just chips it in. Tambakis had to come off his line and corral it. Alex Tambakis has had a rather quiet day, as Bethlehem have really failed to challenge him at all. Into the 85th minute now. Bethlehem have given a couple of runs at Charleston's back line, trying to find the equalizer, but have been thwarted time and time again. And they seem to be a bit deflated here as we enter the final stages of this one. USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. We'll hold that thought as Cordovez with a shot, and McGuire needs to make that save. Cordovez impolitely interrupting my read, as fans stay up to date with all the latest league and news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com, and follow them on Twitter at USL, as Jake McGuire shutting the door on Cordovez, keeping it a 1-0 game. But Charleston, like they've done time and time again, they have a lot of one-goal wins this season, and they have become masters at sort of seeing games out, and they're trying to get that second one, that insurance goal. Towards the near post, flicked on by Cordovez. Back out for Chang. Chang keeps it low, let through. There's the shot, and it just goes wide. And it looked like it was Miles Robinson who was in on the act. McGuire electing to play quickly. James Chambers making a run, not exactly fleet of foot, but forcing a throw-in. Charleston need to be a bit careful there of throwing so many numbers forward. As you saw, Jake McGuire recognized that they had committed at least one of their center backs to try and getting in on the act for the corner and left them vulnerable on the other end.
But defensively, they did a great job in transition because Bethlehem also had a lot of numbers defensively. And then when they shot their attackers going forward, Charleston did a good job responding to that, especially Robinson, who was on the end of that corner that came across. You could see him booking his way back to his center back position.
And there you see Charleston with 4 one-goal wins this season. They haven't been necessarily blowing teams out like a Reno might be, but they are getting all 3 points when it matters. Foul in Bethlehem's defensive third. Chambers trying to play quickly, but the referee, Jonathan Weiner, bringing it back just a few yards. And on the other side of that, Bethlehem's 2 losses in the past 4 weeks have come at the hands of 2 one-goal deficits. FC Cincinnati as well as Charleston a couple weeks ago. Here's a delivery towards the back post. Brown is there, just heading it back down. Dante Marini with a lot of work to do here. He's got Woodbine in support. Goes all the way back. Sliding challenge from Monhay. And it'll go back to Charleston, who are just a few minutes away from extending their unbeaten streak to 7 matches and to take sole possession of first place heading into the Week 10 weekend. And with both of these teams playing on the weekend, you can understand why Romario Williams came out about 25 minutes early. You want to try to keep him fresh to be able to get all 3 points on the weekend as well.
Bethlehem keeping in there. Corey Burke, Sekou Kone looking for that goal, the equalizer, trying to bring in fresh legs and just really change this game.
Nice play here. Monhay. Real has it poked away. Kone going out wide, and that pass with a bit too much heat on it.
In, 21 out.
Referee taking care of a substitute over on the far side of Goodman Stadium. And it's going to be Jeffrey Otu coming in, replacing Michael Chang, who's had a very busy day out on the wing for Mike Anhauser. So Otu getting the run around for a couple of minutes here right at the last. A little bit of an awkward throw in there from Obi Woodbine.
Entering the game for Charleston Battery.
Into the 90th minute, Bethlehem desperately trying to avoid back-to-back losses here. But they've looked very lackluster in the last 20 minutes. You would never know from just looking at the game if the scoreboard wasn't there, you would have no idea this team was down a goal.
Yeah, I'd expect to see a little more direct play and consistent direct play over the past couple minutes, but it just hasn't really been the case.
Here's Real. Into the mixer. Falls to the feet of Chambers. Back for Brown. Chambers again. The Irish native has a shot. It's off the crossbar. Chambers right at the last, just inches away from equalizing when it just looked like Bethlehem had run out of gas. Their captain almost provided a magical moment. We'll take another look.
And I've just said how calm Chambers is on the ball. He takes his first touch, knows he's going to look on frame, sets himself up with it, and just hits it to that far post, has a nice bend on it, just a little touch too high.
Well, that's certainly been the story of Bethlehem's day, a day late and a dollar short. As Cordovez goes down heavily. And we're getting word now from the fourth official that we have 4 minutes of stoppage time. And it looks like one of the Bethlehem strikers started in an offside position, so that opportunity is wasted. James Chambers as well as Sekou Kone having a word for head referee Jonathan Weiner. Great opportunity from Chambers in the 90th Denied by the width of the woodwork. One of the few opportunities that Bethlehem has had throughout this entire game that have really challenged Alex Tambakis at all. As it could very well be back-to-back losses for Brendan Burke's side. Long ball sent ahead. Thomas is there. Skylar Thomas has played a nice game at outside back for Mike Anhauser. Naturally a center back, but due to some of the disciplinary suspensions as well as Miles Robinson coming down from Atlanta United, he got pushed outside back and performed beautifully here today. Amoy Brown with the delivery. It's a good whipped-in ball. Real going for the one-time volley. Very ambitious effort from the 17-year-old who's committed to Wake Forest to play college ball next year. Trebet up strong for the header, falls to Guerra. Portillo all the way out wide. Here's 0-2. Back for Guerra. And that's going to do it from Goodman Stadium. The Charleston Battery now have sole possession of first place in the Eastern Conference. Their unbeaten streak now extended to 7 as they come away with a 1-0 win here at Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University. Romario Williams' strike in the 31st minute proves to be the difference. Morgan Conklin, your thoughts?
Much better second half from both teams. Bethlehem found some momentum for them going forward in the second half, had the most and the best of their chances, but Charleston, just too much for them to handle.
Romario Williams with his 8th of the season, another game winner for number 9 rather, as he continues to dazzle the USL and specifically the Eastern Conference, tearing it up on the pitch week in and week out in this midweek matinee special. Charleston Battery come away with the 1-0 win thanks to Romario Williams' 31st minute strike. We'll be back with match stats and highlights when we come back.
Insert over, put it home, and the Union lead.
No lengthy disclaimers with paragraphs of fine print here. Just honest pricing. 25 megabit per second high-speed internet and economy cable with over 85 channels. Only $49.99 per month. No contract, no modem rental fees, no data caps. Free DTA. Take the game and Service Electric with you on your mobile device with TV everywhere.
Over 60 channels currently available, including TV2, and the list is growing. Use the Service Electric app or go to sectv.com for details.
You've lived with it for too long. That recurring joint or muscle pain that makes everyday tasks a strain and repetitive movement almost impossible. Why put it off? The sooner you seek treatment, the more options you'll have. The faster you'll be back in full stride. The latest non-surgical solutions. The region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
Full time here at Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University. And it's the Charleston Battery who come away with another 1-goal win, their 5th of the season, unbeaten streak now to 7 games. They haven't lost a match since April 8th against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And Romario Williams with his 8th goal of the season. And from the start, it looked like Bethlehem were in a rhythm. They had a couple of opportunities, but they just weren't able to cash in.
And they found Real going forward early, he was able to get forward and he provided some good service wide. But on the other end for Charleston, a nice little touch by Skylar Thomas on the Portillo corner that really made things interesting right in front of goal.
And Charleston would continue to knock on the door, and bursting through the door was Romario Williams with his strike in the 31st minute. It looked like it took a nasty deflection off Hugh Roberts.
A nice entry ball by Woodbine, just a beautiful turn by Williams. Nice touch, sets it up, but as you said, Roberts got a little deflection on it. We didn't see it until this last angle. He gets a good look on frame, was going far post, and the way it deflected went back to the near post.
Unlucky break there for Jake McGuire. Higashi had an opportunity here, as that would do it for the first half, as Bethlehem just looked all out of sorts at the last moments of the first half.
And Charleston really had a lot of momentum going into halftime. Good opportunities, and they carried it over into the second half early on, sending players forward. Chambers on the other end for Bethlehem, one of their best opportunities. They sprung him wide. Nice ball played into Kone, just misses wide.
And the chances would continue to come for Charleston, as McGuire would make the double save there, as he was phenomenal in goal for Bethlehem all afternoon. It could have been 3-4-0 if not for the youngster McGuire, and that goal ended up being called offside.
Definitely a busy day for McGuire. He got lucky there. That ball by Gare, they called him offside, said the final touch he was offsides, but big, crazy game today for McGuire. Busy day for him.
Absolutely, as Charleston would continue to get opportunities, and this was the best chance of the day for Bethlehem.
Right at the end of the game, Chambers, a nice little touch to set up his shot, just misses and hits the crossbar.
And the stats certainly tell it all. As you can see, Bethlehem in clear possession of the ball the entire 90 minutes, but shots on target really tell the story of what this day came to for Bethlehem.
Well, and Bethlehem was able to get 10 shots, but only 1 on target. Looking at Charleston, having 27 on target is pretty good. That's a good ratio for shots to shots on target. As we said, the Bethlehem possession wasn't always dangerous. They didn't always have a purpose with it. They completed over 520 passes compared to Charleston, who completed 350, but most of Bethlehem's passes were in their defensive half, defensive 2/3 of the field. So not dangerous enough, and they just weren't able to find the back of the net.
Bethlehem now losers of their last 2 games. It was a 2-1 loss to Cincinnati last week at Nippert Field, and now it is a 1-0 loss at Goodman Stadium to Charleston, who now have sole possession of first place in the Eastern Conference, leaping ahead of the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And we will have Bethlehem Steel versus Harrisburg City at 5 p.m. on Sunday. Should be a great matchup in another Keystone rivalry edition, as Harrisburg City came away with the 3-2 win over in Harrisburg earlier in the year. Certainly always a great rivalry when those two teams meet up, as the youngsters enjoyed every minute of the 90 here today at Goodman Stadium. Charleston coming away with the 1-0 win over Bethlehem, now extending their unbeaten streak to 7 games. And it's Romario Williams with his 8th goal of the year that proved to be the difference maker. Well, for my producer, Andrew Firestein, our director, Scott Ferguson, and our replay operator, Jose Antaveros, as well as my analyst, Morgan Conklin, I'm Tyler Terran saying so long for now, and thanks for tuning in.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.